Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and in this video, going to talk about Kilchoman Distillery, a little bit about their history, production, their core range, and their latest addition to the core range, the Kilchoman Batch Strength. Kilchoman Distillery is located in the northwest of Islay, Scotland, close to Mackay Bay. The distillery was founded in 2005 by Anthony Wills. In 2015, the distillery purchased Rockside Farm, on which they grow barley for some of their whiskey. The rest is obtained from Port Allen maltings. Kilchoman Distillery is one of 6 Scottish distilleries still working with traditional floor maltings and is unique in completing all parts of the whiskey making process: growing barley, malting, distilling, maturing, and bottling on Islay. Kilchoman uses a 1.2 ton stainless steel mash tun. They have 14 stainless steel washbacks with an average of 90-hour fermentation. They have 2 steam heated wash stills and 2 spirit stills, and they use shell and tube condensers. Since 2023, Kilchoman has been sourcing bourbon casks from Breckenridge Distillery in Colorado. The new supplier has replaced Buffalo Trace, from where Kilchoman sourced bourbon barrels since 2005. The Kilchoman core range consists of the Mackay Bay matured in ex-bourbon cask bottled at 46% alcohol by volume, Seneg matured in ex-bourbon cask and Oloroso sherry cask bottled at 46% alcohol by volume, Loch Gorm matured in Oloroso sherry cask and bottled at 46% alcohol by volume, and the 100% Islay, made from local Concerto and Publican barley harvest, matured in ex-bourbon cask and bottled at 50% alcohol by volume. And the newest addition to the core range is the Kilchoman Batch Strength Islay Single Malt Scotch Whisky. It was matured in recharred red wine casks, Oloroso sherry butts, bourbon barrels. It is non-chill filtered, has natural color, it's bottled at 57% alcohol by volume, and sells for around $75 in my neighborhood. So I had visited this distillery twice, in 2018 and 2023. They've done a number of renovations in between 2018 and 2023, added a cafe. Really a nice distillery. It's the only distillery on Islay that is inland. All the rest of them are near the water. And the name Kilchoman is named after an old church ruin that is not too far from the distillery. So I have the entire core range. I've reviewed all the core range from Kilchoman. One of the things I recommend people do if you're going to visit the distillery, if you get the opportunity, is to try a new make. Calibrate your brain as to what an unaged spirit from a malt distillery smells and tastes like. It's not that I like sitting around, sipping and tasting new make. And if you can bring a bottle home, do that as well. It's more of just get a sense of this is what they're like when it's unaged. Then try one, maybe a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 15, 20. So you kind of get a sense of what does the climate do for that particular spirit, for that distillery, and what does maturation do over time. And then you can kind of calibrate in your brain, get a sense of maturation for that particular place. Of course, 2 major factors that are going to affect the impact of maturation is the climate, how much fluctuation is there in the temperature, what is the warehouse like, is it a dunnage or a racked warehouse, and then third, what is the quality of the cask? So more time from a cask that is second or third use, you're not going to get a whole lot of extraction out of it, whereas even lesser time from maybe a first fill, you're going to get more out of it. Generally, I like Kilchoman, probably the Loch Gorm out of the core range up until this one is my favorite. This one, they say on the box and in the notes that it spent some time in red wine casks and Oloroso sherry casks. And then look at the color. It's not real dark. It's kind of a pale golden color. Just looking at it, I would never in a million years guess that it got anywhere near a red wine cask or an Oloroso sherry cask. Likewise, on the notes, on the nose, don't get any notes of fig, dates, raisins, which would be typical of an Oloroso sherry cask. I don't get anything that hints of a red wine. It does have a slight new makey character to it. Maybe a little bit of pineapple, really intense smoke. In fact, from the neck pour, the first thing you get is just a lot of smoke. This bottle requires a little bit of patience. From a neck pour, put a couple drops of water into it. That will help sort of integrate the smoke into the whiskey. I get a little bit of pineapple. I don't get the saccharine, powdered sugar character that I get from whiskeys that are way too young. But this does come across as young. And not a whole lot going on there. I get smoke, a little bit of pineapple, minute amount of spice on the palate. If you like peated whiskeys with a big pow, the smoke and peat in your face, that's what's going on here. Get past that initial impact, you do get maybe a little bit of pineapple. It is sweet all the way through. I mean, sweet, sweet from the front and the middle to the finish. A little bit of vanilla, hints, just hints of spice, kind of creamy on the mouthfeel. A little sharpness from the alcohol and the youth. And it finishes with just a mouthful of smoke. Maybe a little bit of chocolate. So grilled pineapple, grilled apple, maybe a grilled pear. It's slightly tropical. A punch of peat. It does, once you get past the neck pour, it's had some aeration. So I first tried this neck pour, put the cork back on, waited a few days before I came back to it. Just that initial aeration to help in the bottle. And then when I tried after that, I put some in a glass and let sort of sit and rest. And then try it neat, and then try it with a drop of water. Water does help. Doesn't have a whole lot of transition. Front, middle, finish, all pretty much the same. What finishes is a mouthful of smoke. Fruit notes is mostly like a grilled pineapple, grilled pear, grilled apple. Hints of spice. It is fairly sharp, but this ABV, you can kind of expect that. It does come across youthful, but not new makey. If I were to guess on the age, I'd say 5 years tops, 5 years tops. So, based on what, from the notes and the casks, I'm disappointed. I would like to see more impact and interaction with the Oloroso sherry cask and a red wine cask. So it should be darker in its fruit notes based on the cask that are supposedly used. Tasted blind, I would never in a million years guess that this got anywhere near a red wine cask or an Oloroso sherry cask. I would guess it's almost, in terms of the sweetness, it's almost Sauterne-like, In fact, I would guess maybe a bourbon cask and a white wine rather than a red wine or any Oloroso sherry cask, because it doesn't have any of those darker fruit notes as it says on the back of the bottle. My overall impression, I'm not thrilled. This is not my favorite in the core range. My favorite in the core range is probably going to be the Loch Gorm, that Oloroso sherry cask. And when you read the notes, and if you've had Loch Gorm, that's kind of what you're looking for, but at a stronger peat level. What I give it as a score, I'll probably go like 83. Would I recommend buying it? The price isn't bad. If this was over 90, I would say heck no. Don't bother with it at this price point. If you are a person who likes to smack upside the head of smoke and peat and sweetness, this might be right up your alley, particularly for the price range. I know Scott and Bart over at Scotch Test Dummies really liked it. They both went over 90 points. But I know Bart is basically, you know, he's a smoke hog. He likes peat, young. He likes young whiskeys that are peaty. So this is more up his alley. For me, it doesn't have much change, front, middle, and finish. Doesn't have much going on in the length of the finish. It lacks development. It lacks depth. It lacks character. It's just fairly simple. It's not bad. It's just meh. You know, I'm kind of, that's my overall impression. Meh, not loving this whiskey. It's not bad, I'm just not loving it. All right, if you have tried the Kilchoman Batch Strength, let me know down below what you think of this. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And until next time, Slàinte. Hey, don't forget to subscribe and check out these other whiskey videos.